Welcome to the Super Saturday debate with me, Akanksha Swaroop. Scores of women stuck in a few meters of space, puja baskets in their hands, and many screaming for help. These were the scenes that played out earlier today at the Sri Venkateswara Swamy temple in Srikakulam in Andhra Pradesh. The videos captured chilling moments during the Stampede tragedy that claimed 9 lives, including a child. Videos of those you can see on your screen. What makes the Stampede even more tragic is that it happened on the occasion of Ekadashi, considered a sacred day by the Hindus, bringing the focus back to how religious places continue to become death traps for devotees falling prey to stampedes. Now, Andhra Minister Nara Lokesh, along with MP Ram Mohan Naidu and Home Minister Anita, visited the accident site to meet the injured and the families of the deceased. Meanwhile, the first arrest has also been made, with the accused taken into police custody. Andhra Pradesh, remember, has witnessed 3 major temple tragedies this year, leaving 22 people dead and nearly 100 injured in 2025 alone. The latest being the Kashibugga temple stampede in Srikakulam today, as you can see. In April, 7 devotees were killed where a rain-soaked wall collapsed at the Sri Varaha Lakshmi Narasimha Swamy temple near Visakhapatnam. In January this year, 6 people died and around 40 were injured in a stampede at the Bairagi Pattada in Tirupati, where hundreds had gathered for the Vaikuntha Dwar Darshanam at the Sri Venkateswara temple. What will it take for the governments, particularly the government in Andhra Pradesh, to control such tragedies? We'll be posing that question to our guests in just a bit. Spokesperson of the TDP, Mr. Deepak Reddy, joining me on the broadcast, and is Karthik Yelapragada, who is the spokesperson of the YSRCP as well. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining in. We speak in an extremely tragic hour. Karthik, do you believe that this tragedy, even though we are looking at a temple which is already been deemed as a private property, doesn't come under the Andhra Pradesh Endowment Board, but could this tragedy have been averted?
Thanks for having me on the show, Akansha. First of all, it's so it's so unfortunate to see an incident like this, one of the many that happened in the recent past. The question is, can it be avoided? Yes, because I treat this as a culpable homicide. Because in the last 10 months, not even a year, in the last 10 months, this is the 3rd incident that is happening in the state of Andhra Pradesh. One being in TTD itself, second in Simhachalam, third today in Kashibugga. Now, this says something, right? Now, where is SOP? The village is said to have 57,000 odd people, and when 20,000 people are gathering, the government is claiming that we don't have, a permission. What sort of intelligence does it have? And again, if this private aspect is not part of the government, I would question, what is government all alone doing? What is the meaning of government? Government should have all the intelligence that such an event is happening, being an auspicious day. And when 25,000 people are gathering, where is this intelligence gone? Because the machinery and the state police interests are elsewhere, governing self-interest of few leaders. Because they're all elsewhere. The whole point is, if this happens again and again, how many lives still have to be taken away just because of inefficiency and the fatal failure of governance all along?
Thank you for setting up the tone of this discussion. Deepak Reddy, I want to quickly bring you in. We've seen how Nara Lokesh, Ram Mohan Naidu, even the Home Minister of the state have all swung into action. But of course, prevention should have been the first strategy. That's the key focus right now. They're swinging into action now. But as has been highlighted by Karthik also, where were the SOPs and why weren't they being followed? Whose responsibility is to ensure that these SOPs are put in place and that they are followed?
Akanksha, when any such incident happens, it's painful. But what's saddening is the representative belonging to YCP is again trying to play politics even in such kind of times, which is bad taste. Let me come straight to the point. The chief minister is personally monitoring what happened after the incident took place, and our senior ministers, the local MLA, and senior leaders of the party were rushed to the spot. The entire government mechanism has swung into action for the rescue and relief. Now, as we speak, Lokesh Ji is on the field meeting everybody. And the reason for this is it is an under construction temple, a private temple on a private land. And daily about 1,000 people would come. So they thought on a good day like this, around 3,000 people might come. That's what the management has said. And more than 25,000 people showed up. So they haven't intimated to the government or to the endowment that that this kind of arrangements are made. 100% there is a fault of the temple management. They haven't made adequate arrangements, and that is purely the reason. It is unacceptable, and there is no excuses for what has happened. Hence, now we have decided to come out with a standard operating procedure for all temples, even if they are private or whatever. And strictly, every fine detail would be monitored. Just the other day, a week ago, in Kanakadurga temple in Vijayawada, 16 to 18 lakh people came, and there was no problem. So here in this case, it was a new temple under construction, and that is the reason. Nobody knew that it was there, and it wasn't pure accident. And we should not be doing politics on this.
All right. So, Karthik, how do you respond to that? Because that's an interesting point that has been made by Mr. Reddy right now about the previous temple gathering that's just taken place, and it was a success when it had devotees in lakhs. But having said that, how much of an onus don't you think that the questions right now also need to be diverted to temple bodies and officials who have failed to inform, say, not the government officials, but not even the police, so that they could provide adequate arrangements?
No, that's the whole point, Akansha. Government is swaying away by not taking the responsibility. If 50,000, populated town, if 20,000 people are gathering, if we claim that no one is informed, what is the local sub-inspector doing, circle inspector doing when such thousands of crowds are coming? And also on record, the endowments minister just comes after just an hour and says that this is a private affair. Now, what's private and what's public? This is government. They're just lacking the basic understanding of how government should function. Now they're privatizing 17 medical colleges, for an instance. Now, if something happens to those 17 medical colleges, they claim that this is all private. We have nothing to do from government side. The whole understanding of governance is utterly failed. And they talk a lot about, the real-time governance, and we know the potholes all over the state. We even know that even a fly or a mosquito is going around. Such fancy statements are thrown by Mr. Naidu, and now 10 lives are lost. Where is his real-time governance? If that's on theory. In practice, where is the real-time governance? Should they have real-time governance? Do we really need to inform someone when thousands are gathering?
Deepak Reddy, how do you respond to that? Because questions are being raised that time and again, various stampedes, particularly in southern states, have been observed. They lack proper facilities. Over here also, you're looking at an under construction temple where such weak barricading led to that entire accident. In fact, CNN News 18 was the only channel to have reached out to the SP of the district, and he's gone on record to say that the stampede was caused because there was an accident. The iron railing collapsed and it was so weak. Why would temple authorities then, whether private or government, even allow this kind of a turnout of devotees when the temple is under construction? And who ensures that arrangements and SOPs are put in place? I mean, the Deputy CM today has gone on to also talk about the same thing. Pawan Kalyan has asked why weren't adequate security arrangements made? Why weren't instructions being followed, particularly when it comes to devotees standing in a proper B line? So why couldn't all of these questions be raised earlier? Deepak.
Yeah, Akansha, when you see during the earlier Jagan Mohan Reddy government time, n number of disasters like this have happened. But I don't want to get into politics now. In the Tirupati incident, a senior IAS officer was transferred and such stringent action was taken. Now, every fine detail is being looked at, and a proper SOP we would be coming out with, and we would ensure that such an incident would not
But
take
why
place.
now? Why now when 3 incidents have already happened in 2025? 22 people have been killed this year alone in religious stampedes, over 100 injured.
This particular incident, Akanksha, was a private one which was not even reported, which was not even known.
So I'll tell you what, reports have already indicated that the temple officials have said that every Saturday, devotees arrive, say a strength of 10 to 15,000 devotees is what we are looking at. They arrive. Police arrangements are made because the police is informed, and we did inform the police, but they did not provide ample security arrangements. How do you respond to these discrepancies in the narratives? One that's being maintained by the temple officials, of course, the government going on record to say that no such request was made, including police.
Akansha, the first thing is between 1,000 to 2,000 were the people usually they were coming. That's what we came to know. But as you say, if 10,000 people were coming, definitely heads are going to roll. And a lot of people are going to be suspended. And henceforth, the SOP is going to be so stringent that such things would never again happen. One thing I would like to say, when I go into Tirupati temple, I don't take my gunmen and my security with me. So then you see in the lines, people from the back start pushing. So there is something in our culture where the anxiety is there of the pilgrims to start pushing and going forward. So we as a people should also discuss and we should be a little more responsible. I'm not blaming anybody, but this is only a matter of discussion, is what I'm saying. Even when I'm on the flight, I sit in the first two rows. When I'm getting off, the people from the back just push even before we get on. So some degree of civic sense also should be a point where we discuss. But there's no excuse for this. But we are going to come out with such a stringent SOP from now on that such things would never happen henceforth. And if at all the contradictory information which came out and information was given to the police, multiple heads are going to roll. There is no exception.
There's another very tragic story behind this entire temple stampede, and I want to bring in Karthik on that note. So this temple, from what we learnt today, is also known as Chinna Tirupati. Correct me if I'm wrong, meaning that it's a mini Tirupati. Now, the man who's been taken into custody, the accused, Hari Mukund Panda, the story behind the creation of this entire temple was his resolve, because he was denied a temple visit to Tirupati. That's when he decided that he will come up with a mini temple for all the local devotees who do not get to pay their homage to Tirupati. Karthik, what does it speak of this very tragic sort of plight of temples where VVIP treatment is given to some people, as Deepak rightly highlighted, that many of them even go along with their gunmen, and it is the common man who bears the brunt of these stampedes.
Yeah, what is most surprising here is, Akansha, the tone that the current government is setting up. They should hold the accountability and responsibility, and then owe the people a responsibility that how can they avoid such things of not happening in the future. In the recent past, we have seen TDP MLA openly disclaiming the holy Bhagavad Gita on record, which has gone viral.
And we shouldn't politicize this. Let's come up with concrete measures on ground.
That's all what we're trying to say. Come up with this, this correct sorts of procedures. This is the third incident happening in 10 months that speaks at volumes. Why this is happening only in the state of Andhra Pradesh? Because their interests are elsewhere. How can we avoid a fourth incident doesn't happen? How can we avoid that such things never ever happen again? And how many more lives have to be lost in state of Andhra Pradesh, especially during these auspicious occasions? That's the whole point of the story. And government can't dodge here, Akansha. They're dodging, and then the minister himself claims that it's a private event. Come on, please stop saying it's a private event. It's government. Government is everyone. We are all government. Please understand the basic essence of government.
We are very clear that action would be taken, and SOP is being...
You're setting up a control room now. I want to just ask, all of this that's being done now could have been prevented. Apart from all of this, there are calamities that are being questioned about, bus infernos, factories burning up, these stampedes. I can imagine the kind of pressure that the Chandrababu Naidu government is currently battling. What do you have to say to that? I'm giving you a quick minute. Deepak.
Akansha, let me be very clear. It is very unfortunate that the YCP gentleman is talking politics here. During their government, there were n number of such incidents. And when an incident like this happens, we should always talk in a positive note and feel for what has happened and try to come out with constructive suggestions rather than start blaming.
All right.
We
totally agree, and perhaps this entire stampede, this tragedy has only arrived with the realization that perhaps it's also time for state governments to shift focus over to these private temples, and so what if they are not under the temple endowment boards? It is time to put those SOPs in place even for the private entities. Many thanks to you, gentlemen. It was a pleasure having you here on the broadcast. With that, let's also bring out a reaction. Remember, Nara Lokesh is currently inspecting the location. Let's listen in to what he's had to say.
So a lot of people who came felt that they could go through the exit route, and that created a lot of suffocation. And if it's also stepped, entries has steps. So the person on the top tripped and fell, and it resulted in a cascading effect. And also the queue planners that are there were not planned for this kind of crowd. Generally, you have to go, when so much of crowd is expected, minimum 7 inches inside, you need to anchor the queue management system, barricades. But what has happened is here, it's only close to 2.5 inches. So the barricades fell, and on one side, if you had noticed, once they fall, they straight fell onto the cement beam, and then the cement flooring that was on the side. And majority of them who passed away are women. It's very unfortunate this incident happened. As soon as we got to know, so the incident happened, within 5 minutes we got to know. I reached out to the Honorable MLA and the Honorable Minister here. Then we have a WhatsApp group in real-time governance, which also has Disaster Management Minister.